Hey up, podcast people. This is going to be the first episode of the Gardener's Shed podcast. I've been wanting to do a podcast for so long, and now is the time. I've decided on a bit of a sort of a rough format that we're going to be sort of doing for each episode. So there is going to be continuality to an extent. There's going to be a main central topic, but before I give you that topic, I'm going to talk a little bit about the season, how it's going, a little bit about myself, what problems I've encountered, or if any problems, how work's been going. I'm going to give you a funny story of the week as well. Just a quick little thing, I'm going to try my best to get the audio as good and clear as possible. I've been trying with a GoPro and a separate mic, and I've settled on just using my phone, and that seems to give me the best audio. In the background you can hear the heater just turning itself off, so that'll be going off in a little bit. If you're wondering where I am, I'm in my camper van. It's nice and quiet here, other than myself obviously, so should be no interruptions, should be just quite nice. Give me time just to think about what I'm going to say and give you hopefully the best sort of podcast. So I'm going to give you a funny story of the week, something that's happened to me or in the month, depending. I'm hoping to try and get a podcast up a week if I can, or once every fortnight. Believe you me, I see a lot of stuff in this, in my day to day that I think is quite funny. And as well, I'm going to open it up to you guys. But what I'm going to do is if I've got nothing funny, get on the emails, drop me an email. I'm going to leave my email address and put up, some funny stories, something that you see within your day-to-day life, and it's all going to be anonymous. And there's so much that I see that I'd love to be able to talk about it. I'd love to be able to tell you about some of the customers I've had, but I can't. It's not the right thing, if you get what I mean, because if people worked it out who it was, it's not fair. But in an anonymous guy, skies from you guys as well, I'm happy putting that out, because we do see some funny stuff. The flip side to that, within this industry, we do see some sad things, unfortunately. We see things that shouldn't happen. They shouldn't happen that way, and unfortunately, it is what it is. But the aim for this is it's going to hopefully be a little bit informative, funny. It's just going to take your mind off it. So whether you're sat on your hands and knees weeding a border, or you're back on a mower and you've got your headphones on, just drop me a sort of a like or whatever, listen to it or whatever. And then any suggestions, any topic suggestions, I'll leave the email, just get them in there. So we've got a central topic today. I'm going to talk to you a little about customers. Not so much the good side to customers, but the bad. I'm going to give you a golden promise sort of story from my own experience. And I'm also going to go through the carrot and the stick mentality, what some people have when it comes to us gardeners. And then at the end, what I've decided to call it is the hot on the horizon. I'm going to tell you about what I want to be getting done, whether it's this week or next week, or something even in this year, because I don't know what's around the corner in this. And that's the good thing about this industry. You just don't know where you're going to be in this industry. Yes, you could still be mowing lawns next week, or you could have a phone call and it could be some guy in a great big house, or it could be some little doddery old lady that you could do a little mow and go for, and she could say, oh, my nephew runs a garden centre, he needs somebody to look after all the grounds. And then it could be you just do not know in this industry. And then right at the very end, I'm going to give you what I've been watching. So anything that I see or listening to, I'll pass on to you guys. So if you're not familiar, my name is Sam. I run Sgm-garden maintenance. Just as a bit of a sort of, so you can see, get grounded, bit of a ballpark figure, I'm a one-man van gardener working out the back of my van. I love my job. There's no staff, nothing like that. I also try and do other things. So as part of my business, I look after gardens. I also do bits of exterior cleaning, and I also do the house clearances as well. So there's three sort of main areas on how I get my income, and each one has their own blooming problems and trials and tribulations, but they all do knit together quite nicely. And I think if you're going to diversify, I think if you're going to go down that route, or looking for different things, get everything where it niches to go. I'll talk about that in an upcoming episode. So I've been running my business now for 5 seasons. I love my job, if I'm being honest with you. I love my job, but also I'm the first to moan about my job. So if you watch my YouTube channel, you'll see where I will moan, but I always try to do it in the most constructive manner. This isn't a woe as me channel, same as my other gardening channel. It's not as woe as me. It's not I've had a bad day, come pat me on the back. We've had a bad day, this is what's happened, how did it get to this, and what's the solution after. I've made mistakes, I've been sat by customers, I've made mistakes, I've put that on YouTube, but in majority of ways I can see why it's happened. It might be me, might be the customers. 99% of the time it is the customers, or it's something out of my control. But the point I'm making is I don't run a perfect business. I don't think anybody does, if I'm being honest with you. We all have our own problems, we all have our own little tribulations, and that's the purpose of this channel, is to sort of, my aim for this, if I'm being honest with you, is if I can put out a 25-minute, 30-minute episode and it gets you out of your world for 25, 30, or takes your mind off it, where you're on your hands and knees and you're weeding and you pick a piece of cat shit up by accident, or you're bored off your tree in the back of a mower, that's enough for me. My aim, though, is if you've got difficult customers, or you think that I have this, I think, am I the only person sometimes that has these problems with customers, or why is it me, and I'm hoping you can watch this and think, oh, that bloke's had the exact same thing. That's the aim for it. So that's a little bit about me. I am going to do an episode at some point giving the full lowdown on how I got started, and I might even do an episode showing my year 1 to 5 sort of business growth, and the things I learned, because I made some mistakes. Trust me on that, I made some mistakes. We'll cover subjects like hourly versus fixed pricing. We'll do them all, guys, don't worry. It's on the cards, it's on the list. So that's my little prompt for intro. We've done that. Season chat, yeah, it's going all right so far. I've got house clearance on the cards at the moment. We've been doing that. Also, we started doing bits of gardening, getting everything sorted out. The only thing that's holding me up at this time of the year is the weather. It's the weather is the big one. And then the only thing that's going to hold me up at the end of the month, when we have a nice weather, hopefully, is going to be customers. And that brings me on to, I'll tell you what, I'll do a bit of customer chat, and I'll tell you about what I saw the other week in my sort of funny story of the week segment. So, customers, love them or hate them, we need them. They're the lifeblood of our business. We can't get away from them. Every so often, though, you have them where they just sort of pose problems. There is people, I'm going to generalise here, there's people out there that will want to help you make, so I think there's three types of customers, fundamentally. You've got the top tier customer, that they're the cream of the crop. They're the people that you leave there and think, bloody hell, I wish I had more people like that. Oh, and spoilers as well for this podcast, there will be swearing. I don't want to use this as a swear up, but I always say if I swear, it's to emphasise a point. So if I say it's a bad customer, do a bad customer. But if it's a fucking bad customer, it's a really bad customer. Yes, I could say really, but it emphasises, it adds that fat to the fire, and that's what, that's how I sort of, structure my words and my sentences. I'm not just here for a swear up, guys. So you've got your top tier customers. They want to help you. They want to help you grow. They want to help your business. They want to do whatever they can to basically get the best out of their property, fundamentally. But they're the people who go out their way to recommend you. They're the people that, are most understanding. They never cause you a problem. Then you've got your middle tier, which is they're indifferent to you. They like you because you do a good job and you're their gardener. You might ring them up. The top tier customer will be like, oh, Sam's here. But middle tier, you're just a gardener. But they'll have you time in, time out. And if you've not worked it out, they're your bread and butter customers. Then you've got the third tier, which is the shit tier. These are the people that are parasites. These are the people that they're like a little sucker fish. So when the shark goes past or the whale, they latch on and then they just suck what they can out of your business. And these people will do what they can to. There's nothing about you that they care about. They might pretend to be a good customer, but it's all about them. It's, perish the thought that you want to earn a living. It's all about basically them, unfortunately. They want to, if it starts going your way, they don't like it. They want to save as much money as they can or get as much back from you. They're the ones who'll put on you. They're the ones that will moan at you. So you sort of know where I am when I sort of say there's three types of customers. So the first type of sort of negative customer interaction you'll get, and a little subject in its own, is the golden promise customer. These customers are infamous in our industry. These are the people that will promise you. Golden promise, that's where their name comes from. They're the people that will, if you do a good job for me, there'll be plenty of work. If you do a good job for me, there will be, there'll be a reward. There's always a thingy, and they're the ones that will say, if you do it cheap for me, I will. You can do all the rest of the year. And what it means is you do a cheap job for them, you could do that 6 months from now for me, or a year, and then when you should have put your prices up, they'll still want it that same price, and you'll be doing a shit job for a cheap price forever. Now that starts sounding a bit more worse than how they put it across, which is, if you do a good job for me, you can have it next year, and and I'll get onto that a bit, because I think that's a bit more of the carrot or the stick mentality. But the golden promise, I fell for it. I probably will again, because you can't. Bad customers don't act like bad customers all the time, do they? They think in their head that they're the most amazing customer in the world. But think about how many times you've had where you go to people and they promise you the earth. Like, oh yeah, don't worry about money, don't worry about this. This needs doing, that needs doing. We all fall for it. We've got all this work that needs doing, but we just need this job doing cheap first. That's all we want doing. I had it when I started my business. Basically, I can say it now because she's passed on, unfortunately. Little old lady, she looked like a right miserable old boil, and she was. She, from the very first, so I went to her to do a tidy up. To do fortnightly maintenance. Agreed fortnightly maintenance. Agreed. Back then I was charging £17.50 an hour. Quoted everything. Went to her 2 weeks later. Jesus Christ, the lawn, it was long, but anyway, got to it, started doing it. I managed, in my head, it took me about 2.5 hours. I let her off for half an hour because she said to me, she haggled me down on the price, so it should have been more, but she haggled it down, but she promised winter work. And she even said, you can see how much garden I've got and how much needs doing. Well, I fell for it hook, like and sinker. There's no two ways about it, did it? There was no thanks for staying over longer. First thing she did was question the bill. She come out with 30 instead of 35. Said, you told me it's £15, and I says, no, it was 20, but I gave you a discount, £17.50. Oh, well, I'll have to go and get my money. Big song and dance, come out with a change tin. She paid me in loose change, basically, that £5. And the rubbish was another one. She tried to get out on the rubbish, so I did the grass, filled her brown bin. She said to me, I thought you took the waste away for free. No, it's on your business card. It isn't. I'll get your business card. It's not on there. She got my business card. It must be on your newspaper ad. I said, it's not on any advert. I said, I can't do free waste removal. So she went and got that. Like I said, totally bummed off, totally bummed over. I went back though, didn't I? Because when I first started, I needed the money. And I think she knew it. So I went, should have been 2 weeks, ended up being 4. That's how it went for about 3 or 4 more visits. Luckily for me, there was always a problem every visit. And about September time, she come out and did the job. And she said, "You've done a fantastic job. Thank you for all the work you've done." I said, "Oh, it's all right." I says, "Don't worry, I'll be back in a fortnight for the grass." "Oh, no, grass won't need doing." I said, "Okay, well, I'm trying to sort of, deal with what I got here." I said, "Well, are you okay if we start on the shore?" "Oh, no, there won't be any gardening doing over here, Ducky. It's just the weather's not right." I said, "Well, you said there's going to be winter." "Oh, no, you can see yourself, nothing. It looks all right. You've done a good..." Cut my losses and I walked away. I coincidentally, or funnily enough, I had a call off her every season until last season. So until last year, I had a phone. Well, sorry, until 2 seasons ago. So for 3 years, I had a phone call off her, and it was the same phone call. Number popped up, Mrs. Such and Such Grove. "Hello. Oh, I need a gardener. I've got such a big garden. It's such a mess." It's a mess because she had nothing done on it since September. And yeah, every season she rung up. There was another gardener who was local to me. I was speaking to him. You know what it's like when gardeners get together. And he says, "Oh, you haven't been to her on such and such Grove, have you?" I says, "Yeah." He says, "Bloody hell, she had me over for 3 visits, she did. I did 4. Yeah, promised a bloody earth, the woman did all this." So it happens. It happened to him. It happened to me. She's probably had it with other people. It's one of them, unfortunately. So the whole carrot or stick, and this is what, maybe it's me with my, borderline autistic. I don't know if I am, but probably. But my sort of, I take everything, relatively. So it's when a customer says, "If you do a good job, I'll recommend you to other people." Well, what happens if I'm not happy? Will you, if you're not happy, will you tell other people I've done a bad job? If you do this job cheap, it'll be your job forever. And I touched upon that earlier. And, but it's like the whole, "we'll refer you if you do a good..." They never do. And if they do, they've told their mates, "Oh, yeah, I've got a gardener. He'll do it." Because there's always a catch. I've had it where they've referred me and they've referred me in air quotes, and what's ended up happening is the mates rung them up and said, "Hey, you've done our Tony's edge, haven't you?" I said, "Yeah, I had mine sorted last week for him." "Yeah, he said you're a good bloke. He told me what you charged. Could you come do mine?" And you'll go, and it's 4 times the size, and he wants it doing for the same price. I'm like, "Well, yours is 4. He told me, he said it's going to be £100. That's what I've got here for you." Yeah, don't fall for it. Every episode I do, and you'll probably hear I keep saying this, I'll try and do a little bit of a snippet of information. This is my life lesson. This is what I've learned along the way. It might be a stereotype, it might be a cliche, it might be just something I'm over opinionated, but I think like attracts like. I think nice people hang out with nice people, and I think horrible people hang out with other horrible people. I think you'll get a good recommendation of somebody's friends who's off a good customer. If a shit person says, "I know somebody who needs a gardener," it'll be a shit recommendation. Excuse me. So, my funny story of the week, right? And I was at a chap's house, and every year I have to go and I have to cut his tree back a bit. And he's a very sort of astute gentleman, proud. And I don't know whether he had a bit of a brain fart. I don't know. But I went to him and I spoke to him. I said, I won't use your name. I said, "I miss such and such. I'll be round at your house for 9 o'clock. He said, "Oh, it's a bit early, that is, Sam. Could you come early? Could you come a bit late?" I said, "I'll be there half 9's fine." I got there. He poked his head out the window. And he says, I'm just going to have a shower, but crack on." "No problem at all, Mr. Such and Such." He was in the back of his property. Sorry, I was in the back of his property doing this tree. So he knew what tree I was doing because it's the only thing I do there. Did his thing. Didn't tear a dicky off him, did I? Thought, God, I hope he hadn't fallen over in his shower. Because he's an old guy. And so packed all up, done all that. He's got a missus, but I don't think she's very good on her feet. But, I've never seen her, to be fair. I've seen her, like, walking around, but never seen her to speak to. Anyway, I walked around, just about to knock on his door. So he's got a back door and his side door. So I was just about to knock on the side door, and I heard his back door open. I thought, oh, he's come out to me. Walked around. He was fucking bollock naked as the day he was born, hanging his towels up on the washing line. He saw me. I saw him and everything, because there's no hiding. He quickly grabbed a towel, put it round his waist, and went back in the house. Quickest I've ever seen him. And again, maybe it's my overthinking, but why did he have to hang his towels up? When I was doing the work, it was January. It was cold and damp, so they aren't going to dry. That's not the fact that I saw him naked. It was the fact that I thought, your towels aren't going to dry in this weather, mate. But again, he knew I was working in the back. I've not knocked on for payment, so he knows I'm still there. But he come out. Maybe he's chancing it. Maybe he's thinking, you know what? I've had him round for my tree for 3 years now. I'm going to show him my body, see if I just don't know. Oh, I don't think it's that at all. I think he had a brain fart. I think he does it every morning as part of his routine. He has a shower, he hangs them up outside. He is in quite a private garden, so there's no like weird flashery business going on. And he just forgot, and then he just saw me, and there's me with big secretaries in my hand and looking at his 5-card trick. I was like, Jesus Christ. So yeah, next year will be interesting. When I go back there, I probably want to do it again. So, like I said, guys, get your submission. If you've got a funny story, I will send me a funny story and put on if you want to be anonymous or not anonymous. If you want to be anonymous, that'll be it. It'll be such and such from such and such. Won't even mention your name, your area, or anything. It'll just be somebody's wrote in and this is the funny story. Please, no preposterous, no stuff you've seen, like, Google stuff, AI stuff, just get something that's funny that's happened. And, if it's funny, I'll put it out there for you, because we all need a laugh in this. Like I said, it's bloody hard working in this industry. It's January, it's February at the moment. I think it's 15th or 16th at the moment. And it's bloody hard. It's miserable. It's wet. It's just hard. And I think anything, if anything to just take you away from it sometimes is needed. And that's the point by this podcast. So I'm going to go on to what I'm going to call the hot on the horizon subject now. So for me, what's hot on my horizon, it's all about at the moment the start of the season. It's all about getting back to work properly. I've got a few jobs that need to do. Still need to service my equipment. That shouldn't take me long. I've got the house clearance that's bubbling away in the background. But for me, it's all about getting ready for this start of this season. And I'm hoping the 2025 season is going to be the best one yet. I've got plenty of stuff in my head that I want to do and change, and I want to sort of see how it goes. And I'm hoping that it all sort of goes to plan, if I'm being honest with you. So just, yeah, that's what season thingy. As this podcast goes on, I'll give you a little bit more, tool talk. Tool wise, I'm looking at getting a few more batteries. I've just bought a power bank actually, and the power bank is like a big battery, and I can charge up an ep300 battery. I could charge 5 of them off one of those charges on that. So at this point in time, I don't need to buy any more batteries, if you get what I mean. I am going to take the AP deal still going, so I probably will take that up, but I've got a means of charging the batteries while I'm out and about, if you get what I mean. So I'm all right for batteries at the moment. And as well, I've found that I'm doing more days where I'm using all my batteries. I'm doing 5 batteries in some days, so that little power bank's a good little backup. Everybody says this about cordless. What if you run out of electric? Well, what happens if you run out of petrol? No one's got a petrol pump in the garden, have they? Everyone's got a plug socket in their house or on the outside of their house. I don't like doing it, if I'm being honest with you. I don't like asking them to charge, because odds on when I do need to charge up, it's always at someone's house that it's just more of a ball ache to explain it to him. I'm going to give you this box, just plug it in. What will it do? it will charge the battery. What's your battery for? My tool. And then they plug it in and they come out and go, it's making a funny noise, it's dead loud. Well, yeah, it's just got a little fan on it. Is it going to put my bill up because I'm on a bill here? Like I said, sometimes it's worth more bloody trouble than it's worth. So what I've been watching, guys, I check out Scott from SE Landscaping. I will link it in the description. Check out his video where he's talking about how much a commercial gardener can earn. Very, very informative. Podcast wise, I noticed DSA-garden is put another episode up, and podcast wise as well, for for me, I'm a little bit of a foodie. The Stuffed podcast is really worth listening to. That's if you like a bit of cooking, and I do, as you can tell. So this is the first episode, guys. I will leave me email, so feel free to send across any constructive feedback. If the audio's not to your cup of tea, I'm going to try and tweak it as best as I can. Like I said, I did try to use the GoPro with a lav mic, but if I'm being honest with you, I thought the audio was a lot worse. It was a lot more tinny and a lot more up and down than what the iPhone can produce, unfortunately. So, yeah. Also, as well, if a fan noise was annoying at the start, I'm going to try and keep it off, but it will be blipping on, every so often, maybe in upcoming videos. But as it's picking up weather-wise, I shouldn't need to use the heater too much. Yeah, any comments, any topic suggestions, anything you want. I've got some rough topics, but the one I'm interested in is a funny story of the week. Send me across as many as you can of just things, and if you want to be anonymous, you can be Mr. Anonymous. I don't mind. So have a good day, guys. As usual, keep on gardening, but as well, enjoy the Gardener's Shed podcast, episode 1. Ta-ra now.